What is up? It's Master Hogan helping you master yourself. Today we're going to look at the 3 best stretches to alleviate your upper back pain. Before we do that though, let's consider what it is that might be causing that upper back pain. The biggest thing to remember with upper back pain is that it is likely a function of bad posture. And with that comes bad positioning of your anatomical structures. So, what does that mean? The main thing that you need to look at with this upper back pain is this rounded back position. So, what contributes to that? Why does that matter? Well, there's 3 main muscles, coincidentally, that we're going to focus on today that internally rotate your humerus bone. Why is that important? Well, when your humerus is internally rotated, you can see that it puts my upper back into that posture naturally. So this is sort of a chicken and the egg situation. It's a positive feedback loop. It doesn't really matter which one comes first, but once you have one, either tight internal rotating muscles where it will be in that shortened position more, then your posture will follow. Alike, if your posture is like that all the time, or you are putting yourself in that position all the time, such as sitting, if your posture is just like that, any instance, then your muscles, your internally rotating muscles, are more likely to get tight. So, positive feedback loop. What are those muscles? What are their actions? All of that. The 3 muscles that we're going to focus on today are your subscapularis, your latissimus dorsi, and your pectoralis minor. And all of the stretches that we're doing today are going to be done with simply a door frame. So super accessible for everyone. Let's start with the subscapularis. So like I said, all of these have the action of internally rotating your humerus, but the lats and the pec minor have some other functions of that they act on the shoulder blade as well in some other ways. But the subscapularis simply has the action of internally rotating. So this one is sort of like some low-hanging fruit. So how do we counteract that? The places where it attaches, let's look at that first, and then we can figure out how to best extend them. So it attaches on the humerus toward the upper part of it and on the shoulder blade on the inside, the front facing part of it. So when it shortens, it pulls the humerus internal and rotates it like that. So how do we oppose that? We're simply going to externally rotate our arm and kind of lock the shoulder blade into position, so to speak. So you're just going to kind of get into a sort of throwing position, you might call this, like you're going to throw a javelin or something like that, or a ball, and you're going to lock your elbow into the wall and then kind of ground your body in sort of like a staggered stance like this. And so if I'm stretching my right side, my left leg will be in front, so I'm just grounded here. I'm going to get into this throwing position, and then I'm going to sink a little bit so that I have some weight in my feet and I can move my torso accessibly, and then I'm going to try to move my hand back, so I'm externally rotating my humerus bone, which is now horizontal, even more, and then turn away. So I'm getting it on both ends. My hand's going back and my torso is turning. Okay, I'll show you on this side. So here I'm going back and then I'm rotating. And you can feel that deep in your armpit when you do that. So that is number 1. Number 2, we're going to tackle the pec minor. This is a similar position for the stretch. A little bit different though. So the pec minor attaches at ribs 3 through 5 and the coracoid process of your scapula. So that's kind of like a it looks like a finger poking out. It's a structure that kind of just pokes out, lives like right around here on your shoulder, and so it attaches there. So its action is a little bit different. It internally rotates, it sort of like rotates your shoulder blade over, and it also can depress, which just means your shoulder blade's going down. So it does all of that. So this stretch is going to sort of take into consideration all of those actions, and it's not necessarily a traditional stretch because with this one we're going to kind of again lock the shoulder blade into place and then move through an elevation range. Okay, so I'll show you both facing front and back. Front first. With this one, we are going to set our shoulder against the wall and sort of press in, and that is because the pec minor moves the shoulder, the whole shoulder girdle forward while it internally rotates the arm. So we're going to press it back so it's sort of in a already slightly elongated position. So it's locked in here now, and again you can stagger your feet so you're sort of grounded. From here, you're going to slightly contract your back muscles, because since that coracoid process is part of the shoulder blade, pulling it will again elongate the pec minor even more. So you're going to press, slightly contract your upper back muscles, and then from here, and I know you can't see this right now, you're going to move in and out of, raising your arm. So you're moving in and out of a stretched and relaxed and shortened position. So I'll show you here, you're going to press in, slightly contract, and then you're just moving in and out of elevation of your arm. And this can be slight and slow. And slight and slow is probably the best, since you're just sort of like flossing this muscle as you're moving in and out of that elevation. Now, for the lats. We've talked about lats before, but quick reminder, it attaches on your humerus and then on the inferior angle, which is sort of like the bottom point of your scapula, your shoulder blade, and then from like T6 and T7 of your vertebrae all the way down on all of your lumbar vertebrae, and then as well on your iliac crest. And for some people it may or may not attach there. Okay, and that is the spinous process, so it's like the part that sticks out straight back of your vertebrae. Okay, so from there we're going to try to move those places away from each other, the top ones, which is the inferior angle, and the part of the humerus where it attaches, away from the hips and the vertebrae. So how do we do that? We know where the lat's at. It's kind of just that huge like cape looking muscle on your back. So we're going to take your wall here, kind of sort of put your elbow into the wall as high as you can. And I guess I should say this, the action of the lats is shoulder extension, which would be like this, and adduction, adduction, so bringing your arm down, and then also internal rotation. So we're trying to oppose all of those things as we're thinking about this stretch. So we're going to move into shoulder flexion to oppose the extension here, and you can kind of give it a little bit of external rotation to oppose the internal. And then as you sort of lock your arm in on the wall here, you're trying to think about elongating the whole side of your body. So to move our hips farther away from our arm and the inferior angle, you're going to put your close side leg behind your other leg and reach it as far that way as you can. So if you're imagining like a whole curved line from the point of your elbow all the way to, in this case, my right toes, I'm trying to make that line as long as possible. And then we know, since it's on the spinous processes that are sticking out like this, you can kind of give your torso some rotation so that the parts that are sticking out where it attaches will turn even more. So it's going to slightly elongate even more. So again, here, my foot's behind and then I'm turning. Okay, and I'll show you from this side. Arm is up. My left leg this time is behind my right. And then I'm turning in. Okay, so that is all our stretches. Along with this, we can kind of work on the quality of the tissue in between. With that last lat stretch, you can sort of massage, self-massage while you're doing it, which would just be like move it around, try to make it more pliable. You can also take your foam roller and imagine this is the ground. You can put it on the ground and you can kind of just lay on it and roll your lats out. And for your upper back and potentially some mitigation of the tightness that might be leading to that forward kyphotic posture, you can take, I would recommend just a tennis ball first. If that is not doing it, then a lacrosse ball, and put it in between your shoulder blades and just lay and roll around on it, trying to find any tight spots. Like you could use a foam roller if you want for that. It will all sort of work the same. A tennis ball might be more targeted. It just depends on what muscles you find where you got some sore or tight spots that need to be worked through for the upper back. So that is the 3 best stretches to combat your forward rounded posture. I'm Master Hogan, helping you master yourself. I'll see you in the next one.